What up, Grizz Nation, and welcome back to another Grizz 901 live post-game show right here on the Bluff City Media Network. I am Daniel Greer. Nate's going to be joining me very shortly. Tonight turned into a pumpkin pretty quick. It was a game that was very much gone in the third quarter. There's a lot of guys that look like they were just standing by themselves, looked like they were not guarding anyone, and it was a track meet. The Grizzlies scored. They scored 125 points, but they weren't able to limit the Minnesota Timberwolves of 141 points. The Grizzlies lose 141 to 125. We're going to get into all of the full game breakdown as we always do here on a late evening, but as we always do in the middle of the show, we'll get into a little bit of the Grizz Trivia. And then Ryan has given us a beautiful look ahead, as he always does. But listen, I'm not going to kind of hang out any longer. Let's go ahead and get to it. Hello, Nate.
No, Snuggle was not working.
All right, so Nate, as we always do, just kind of want to get off the very top and kind of talk about what happened tonight just overall. And so off the top rope, Nate, what's your thoughts on the game?
Well, honestly, the way that Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards were shooting the ball, you were pretty apt. I mean, just to be really clear, they shot the cover off the ball most of that game, really until the fourth. I don't want to take away from what they did because they shot unbelievable.
Okay.
Two, before I get to the real analysis, John Goble ain't seeing heaven. Like, that dude is so unbelievably incompetent and highly biased. It's unbelievable. Like that dude, just scum referee. Not even bad, scum referee.
Yeah.
Like that, Anthony Edwards was out shooting the Grizzlies in terms of free throw attempts well into that game. Like, pretty much until the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden, what do you know? They're up by 20-something, and calls start going the Grizzlies' way, starts to even out. By the way, still shot 7 more free throws than the Grizzlies. But Jaren was bad tonight until towards the very end of the game. It's also tough when you're getting all these crazy whistles against you, like, and you get all these touch whistles. Some of them shouldn't be whistles at all. Then on the other end, Ja's getting bumped left and right. Jaren's getting bumped left and right. It doesn't matter. You're not getting the calls. It's just, I mean, it looks like it evened out towards the end. The officiating was so ungodly terrible, specifically one way until the fourth quarter. It was unbelievable. So, once again, there's your commissioner sending someone who notoriously is terrible against a team. And it's like Scott Foster and Chris Paul. But beside the point, also, this is what happens when you play drop coverage with someone who can't move and you have no point of attack defenders to guard anybody. Like, honestly, I thought they had a hand in Julius Randle's face all night, and he just kept making a ton of crazy shots. But, dude, you're about to have a heyday because Ant would come around that screen, and he would just wait for the drop coverage, and he'd pull.
Every time. Nothing changed.
Every single time. And listen, you needed Vince to come back and be Vince again, and it just didn't happen, man. You missed Jalen Wells so bad tonight. You missed Brandon Clark so bad tonight. It seems like to the outside world, not having Brandon Clark and Jalen Wells wouldn't mean anything. To Grizzlies fans, it meant the world tonight. We saw what happened there. So, but why don't you have some fun, Daniel? I know
we're gonna definitely have some fun, but the fun I want to have is with Titan MVP, who shared a little super sticker as well tonight. Titan MVP, you are living up to your name as you always do, man. But his question's about Jaren Jackson Jr. And so I want to throw that back to you, and I kind of want to throw this back to the chat in general. Like, he obviously had that injury, and it was late into the season, an injury, his ankle injury, where him coming back and whether or not he would be able to get back in time to get to the 65 games, we all thought that would easily happen. It's just like, at what point does he get back? And then since he's been back, he has not looked great. So what say you about him since he's returned, like from the injury, and just in a small sample size? What do you think it is? You think it's a lingering issue with an injury, or do you think it's something else?
I don't know. I really don't know, because it could be the injury. Like, he could still have some kind of injury thing going, but it looks like a guy who's completely lost confidence in stuff he was doing for 60 something games. And then somehow for the last 10 to 15, he just doesn't have it. And I don't know, because it's getting to the same spots, and then he's just not creating the separation like he was before. He is getting sped up more than he was. He has been passing out the double a lot more, but it doesn't look. And now, confidence can be injury related, right? Like, confidence can be, I don't trust my ankle and I don't feel right, so I don't trust myself to get into this move. That could be the case, but it looks a ton more like confidence. I don't trust myself to get to the move, to get to the shot I was getting to all season long. So whatever reason it is, it looks much more like a confidence thing to me. But it's got to get fixed if they want to have any hope of, honestly, making the playoffs, like, in multiple avenues.
So since Tomas Isolo has taken over, very rough, like rare, like whatever, whenever that injury happened, and then all the changeover that came with going from Taylor Jenkins to Tomas Isolo, there's been a shift in how they play, right? I consider his play being a negative since that shift has happened, because everything's been more on ball dominant, but also it's going to be more pick and roll. But what does that happen? Okay, so once you get the whoever is being picked, and you're rolling down, right, as a point guard, and then from the big, what you're doing is you're living in a lane at that point, right? So what do you do with Jaren? What's happened is when the all lives matter offense was running, well, for the most part, which I still hate for the most, just clear across the board. I hate that type of offense much better. But I will just say that, like, Jaren gets lost. Jaren gets lost in the corner. Jaren gets lost on the outside. And at that point, there's no potential of him doing anything, because you have Zach Edey hanging out and doing all the picks, and he has zero chance to roll. His roll is worse. It's so bad. Like, it's not even there. Okay. He's rolling like he's playing defense. Like, he's just playing drop coverage, like guard nobody. Nobody cares to guard him. Like, he's by himself on his own island, just kind of living life, just throwing back the drinks. But at that point, like, we don't know what we're doing with Jaren. Why can't we figure out to put Jaren, let him run the pick and roll with Ja, and then you have two dynamic players that can go ahead and branch out and knock down a shot, go ahead and roll down the paint, run the rim a little bit together. There's so much that could happen. Instead, we use Zach Edey because we drafted him at 9 because nobody else wanted to draft him. And we're seeing what's happening against good teams. Let's get into Zach Edey. Thank you, Titan MVP. Everybody wants to talk about Zach Edey and how he's such a great player, and everybody had a little parade, and everybody had a great time. I think he's a good human. I don't want to talk about the dude, just so everybody's clear. I'm talking about the player on the court. He is not a playoff dude. You saw tonight, it was Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert sucks, okay? He sucks. And we got a worse version of Rudy Gobert on this team. Everybody wants to parade and go down Bill Street saying we got Zach Edey on this team. Let me just explain. The dude is not level of NBA. He's just not. Okay? He's fine. He's a good regular season player, but he's not going to be a playoff player. I've said that. I will continue to say that. He has not played really that great against teams that are high level and have a good big. And so he will have good games here and there, but just when it comes down to nut cutting time, Zach Edey ain't cutting nuts. He's just a squirrel, just hanging out.
This year, yeah. I'd still, like, as fast as he's developed, I'm not going to sit there and say he can't get there. Like, but this was the same thing we've talked about all year. Even last game, I know we're having a little fun back and forth, but he had been an absolute animal for like 3, 4, pretty much 5 out of 6 games.
They played nobody.
5 out of 6 games. And we both agreed this was going to be the test. Test didn't go very well. Which, again, I'm with Big Die. He's a rookie. And again,
He is a rookie.
For anyone who's gotten in here and thinks that we've been trashing Edie, our whole thing was we said don't have a rookie big. Over a year ago, like pretty much in the middle of last season, we're like, don't have a rookie big because we knew the direction it was going last season. But he's developed at a really good rate. He could still get there, but this is what's going to happen against these teams.
Yeah.
Right. It's just you're going to get put into it. And honestly, part of me wants to blame the defensive game plan tonight. Not obviously, like Edie just he was been put in the torture chamber, but you got to like commit to something else. Like this whole like, hey, we're gonna have you hedge for a second, but then go into drop coverage just like you're going like anyways. It's like, dude, what do you literally? Ant would come around, Edie would do step and then start dropping, and then he just launch it just all night long. It's like, dude, you've got to do something different. You got to say, hey, no, we're going to hedge. Like you're going to screen as hard as you can, and you're going to make him either split you or give the ball up. But we're not going to let him just keep doing this all night. So there was a total lack of adjustment too, and it sucks not having Jalen Wells because that's your best point of attack defender, right? And the best wing defender you have. And even that was going to be tough sledding for him tonight, right? I mean, you really need someone who's more seasoned, stronger, able to kind of like navigate those screens, and you need more experienced players all the way around. But all the same, putting Edie in that situation, I'm like, I get it, but like at some point you gotta say, this isn't working. We got to do something else. Yeah, man, that's unfortunately what you're looking at right now with your starting center. You just gotta get put into the torture chamber. And again, I don't put that on him. I put that on the organization, which I've put it on the organization literally all year. But we'll see. It's the same thing. He gets a chance to bounce back tomorrow night against Nikola Jokic, so prayers up. But maybe he'll turn around and have a monster night. We'll come back tomorrow night, and the whole Edie fan base is going to be here just destroying you again.
I hope so. I hope so. I will. Amazing. I will wear it, but I promise you, I will wear it as long as you promise, not you, but the rest of you who love Edie and the Edie Hive will wear it as well whenever it turns up turds. Like that's just what's going to happen. And so tonight, I think that Edie, just in general, he's fine as a rookie. He's okay. Like nothing like he should be a backup getting 14 to 18 minutes a night. And that's fine. Like I'm cool with that. But the problem is he got put in this position in a weird season, and he doesn't fit in playoffs. He just doesn't. He's not your starting center at all.
And to be clear, same thing we talked about last game. It'd look a lot different if you got guys who can navigate screens, who can stick their man on the perimeter. Yeah. But instead, you got a drop coverage big who is an extreme drop coverage big.
Yes.
And you also don't have anyone who can navigate the screens. Right. Same thing we talked about last time. You know, people probably got mad at us for that, saying, hey, part of the reason AD is doing so well is because your defense on the perimeter has been much more on a string. You get to tonight and guys are just getting left or dying on screens, and all of a sudden, same thing. Not all his fault, right? Like, you're just stuck in a really bad situation. So, again, for everyone who loves the roster,
the roster's bad. It's got so many holes. It also has so many issues with guys that are hurt as well. Okay, so all of that being said, I don't want. This is not Zach Edey is not the reason that the Grizzlies lost tonight. Just to be crystal clear, he's
John Goble is
true. The referees are bad. He's a cog in the wheel of the reason that the Grizzlies can't get over that hump of beating really good teams. That's the part. Like they just can't beat good teams because they're not that good. I've said that once I understood that personally, and I said, hey, Ja Morant is awesome, and Ja Morant will win you games 100%. The problem is if you don't have a running mate with him, which was Dez for the first half, and then he fell off the earth. Like at that point, it's done. They started coming back a little bit. Jaren got a little cooking late, You also had Scottie Pippen get going late as well. But you have so many holes, and your defense looks like Swiss cheese just in general. So there's a lot. But anyway, let's go ahead and kind of move on a little bit. Lauren's got a question here about what we think of Wells. Would he have been a playoff guy? So I like Wells just in general. If you change the defense behind him, I think Wells is a good player. The problem is when you have one drop coverage big in Edey, but then you also have a roamer and Jaren who really doesn't do well on ball on the perimeter. Okay. That's an issue just in general. He needs to be a guy that can roam and play the big, but he can't play the big because he can't keep his hand out of the cookie jar. So all that to say is you need better pieces around a guy like Wells, who I did not realize this. He's 6'7", which I don't know if that's his fro or not. He doesn't look 6'7", just in general. But he's skin and bones. And so I'm hoping that next season he comes back a little thicker. And I think and he'll be a good pro if he can get his man body built up, get some experience. But also they adjust a lot of the defense. But what's your thoughts on Wells? I think he is a playoff guy. I just think he'll have to take a lot of lumps. And if he's your best defender, you're going to struggle with a rookie defender.
Yeah, exactly. I think he is. It's just the stage of his career. It makes it so tough for a lot of reasons, right? Like one being just the rookie whistle is a part of that, right? Like you've seen it all year. So I got to plug a charger into my computer. I didn't realize it wasn't plugged in and we were about to have a bad moment. But you saw the rookie whistle he got all year long, right? I mean, it was pretty tough whistle all the time. He is just young, and with that, you can get beat up a lot. You don't have the strength, kind of like you were saying. And two, it's just figuring it out, right? Just knowing a little bit. We thought he hit a bit of a rookie wall this year, which I think was pretty clear when it came to the offensive side of the ball. But what you care about is how locked in he was defensively. I mean, he brought it night in, brought it night out. That's all you want from him. I think he's built for it. But this year, like I don't want the Grizzlies to be in the plan. I want them to make the playoffs outright. They're pretty much in dire straits for that right now. Like you got to pull out. I think there's only one scenario that happens. That is if you win out and the Warriors get beat by the Clippers. I think it's the only chance you have at this point, right? Because you can win some tiebreakers if you win out and get yourself in. But beside the point, it was never going to go very well in the playoffs, more than likely, right? Unless his team just hit like a hell of a heater. It was not going to work out. Part of that is Jalen Wells is built for it. As a rookie, you probably don't need to be the defensive stopper for your team.
Yeah.
Right. Especially given the same thing, what you're working with all around you, right? Ja is putting in a ton of effort. He's become a much improved defender. He can't just get lasered on. They can't just lock in on him night in and night out. He's still not a plus defender, right? Desmond Bane defends really tough, probably fouls a lot more than he should. Not as much lately, actually, which has been nice. But same thing. He's not like he's some out of this world defender. You just don't have size and length. So, all in all, I know I'm going like way long on that. I do think Jalen Wells is someone who is going to be a playoff player for you. I don't think this year it was going to go very well because it's a rookie being your number one defender. And there's a lot of things going against you as a rookie, not the least of which is the calls you're going to get.
Well, and that's there's so many factors when you have a rookie that you're going to have issues just in general, and that's fine. We'll figure that out as we go. But I do have this right here that I want to show you because there has been stuff that's come out, and appreciate Drew Grand for the $2 Sports Show every Tuesday, Thursday live at noon. Drew Hill has come out and put up a comment post game from Ja Morant, and it is very simple. Ja Morant, the message to the team after a difficult loss: play some effing defense and go get a win.
Yep. I mean, dude, you can't give up a 52-point quarter. I don't care how well the other team is shooting. You can't let them give up 52. That's just no. Bye.
Sorry.
Bye, Felicia.
I was trying to switch to this one. I still hate StreamYard and some of these, but that's the issue is how does that happen?
I have this roster. I don't like it. just drives me crazy. I mean, listen. With this roster, I don't know, man. You got to be so on a string. It's got to be so unbelievable. Santi Aldama's got to become a defensive big, which good effing luck.
Oh God.
And I just don't know what you want. It's just this team has a ton of talent that all could be a great NBA roster.
Yeah.
But dude, they're all 20. They're 20. You're starting 2 rookies. Your best roster is starting 2 rookies.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want, man. And at 2 very important positions. That's not like a rookie who you're going to have defending their third best player and he'll get like 5 shots a game. Like, no, he's going to guard the team's best other player. And also, we need you to be able to hit that corner 3 when it matters most because they're going to leave you open. Oh, by the way, let's go start a big rookie big.
Right.
Like rookie center. You know how hard it is to play center in the NBA? It's
not easy.
Yeah, dude. And you're putting him in this position. It's just like unbelievable. So, listen, man, maybe it all turns around next year and these guys all are like unbelievable, but it's the same thing I've been saying for months. I don't know how this team competes if you don't augment the roster in a better way.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah. Well, there's also 2 guys that did well tonight. They went 12 for 21 from beyond 3, and that was Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards. 12 to 21 is ungodly, like fireball hot. And so at that point, you're talking about 2 guys that normally don't shoot that well. And yeah, like Drew's saying here, like you expect Randle to cool off, and he just never cools off. Like it's just like, whoa.
Never in my life have I seen Julius Randle be that good for an entire game. Even in like the Knicks days, it was like he would have a cold stretch at some point. Like, there's been a ton of times this year he would take a shot when the Grizzlies played him, and I'm like, thank you. I'm like, that's what we needed. We needed you to take a shot instead of Ant. And he just went off tonight. I mean, you just tip your hat to it, but the same thing as like the Grizzlies. If like Vince Williams did that, I'd be like, can't count on that any other nights for the rest of the year type of thing. So, yeah, he was going off tonight. Ant is awesome, but Randall, I don't expect that from most nights. He went crazy.
No doubt. I see some people have talked about trading Jaren for Bam Adebayo. Let me just be honest. I don't care about Bam Adebayo that much. I think Bam's fine. I think Jaren's fine. If you traded me one or the other, whatever. Like I think they're both good. I think they're both 2A, 2B on their team. Like they're not the number 1 guy. I don't think that they'll ever be the number 1 guy on a team. I think that Bam can do pick and rolls a lot better than Jaren, but that's Jaren. Jaren's got to figure that out. Jaren is better than Bam if he ever figures out the foul issues, if he figures out a way to be a pick and roll guy. So I know people are talking about it, and somebody else brought it up a few seconds ago, so I figured I'd hit on it. But it doesn't move me either way. No. I don't care, honestly. But
I'm not Jaren Jackson Jr. for Bam.
No, I would not trade him. But just in general, Bam, he's fine. He's not great. I don't know if I would ever do that trade, just in general.
Bam for Edie, I would do that.
Obvi.
Jaren's just not the problem. It's been rough. Like there's no denying it's been rough, but it's like we're trading 60-something games this year for 10.
So when you look at this, let me just read some numbers off to you. Jaren 4 of 7 from 3, 23 points. John Morant 5 of 13 from 3, 36 points. Desmond Bane 6 of 10 from 3, 28 points. Like they combined for an ungodly, like they're over 70 points, whatever that number is, 30, 23, 36, and 28, whatever that number is, they combined for. Scottie Pippen Jr. ends up with 16 points of, very much late into that game.
He played well.
Do the stats lie on that game?
Jaren's do a little bit. The 3-point shooting just doesn't move me all that much because that's not what you want Jaren to be doing night in and night out. If he can hit them, it's great, but it's not what you want to rely on as a team. So I will say, I know we just got done defending him, but the threes from Jaren don't move me. I want to see him crush in the paint. Like he needs to be a presence in the paint. He just wasn't tonight on either side of the ball, either side of the floor. The John Des numbers did not lie.
No, they don't lie. I
John
think
has decided I'm going to start making threes so I can rub it in the league's face. I'm all about it. I love it. Yeah, he's just throwing his thoughts out there, blocking out the outside noise.
yeah.
I love it. But yeah, dude, Ja has been awesome again. And that's what you need, right? You need that. Dez in a big game showed up in a big way. Those numbers were very real. I thought the Scotty numbers were real. It was a lot of late production, but it's not like he's your starting point guard. He's your bench point guard. That's going to happen. It's going to be in a spurt when you get numbers like that
Fine.
off the bench. So I don't think any of the numbers really lied tonight, other than the 23 from Jaren makes his night look a lot better than it actually was.
Oh, his game was atrocious. Like just because he was in foul trouble. And in all honesty, like if he can't get where he's consistent enough to not be in foul trouble, he's going to have those issues like every single night.
Hold on. To be clear, it's been an issue lately since the last Cavs game. The foul stuff has been
100%.
resurging, which has been a problem. Tonight's because John Goble is a baby-headed, bald-headed dummy that can't see further than this camera. It's crazy how bad he was. Like, I'm sorry. Some of those fouls I was trying really hard not to say anything that would require an E next to it on Spotify. To be clear, I think I did a good job. But Goble is such an ungodly, terrible referee and kept getting these ticky-tack fouls on Jaren that he was not calling on the other end. I don't like most nights it's been on Jaren recently. Like the foul stuff has been on him. It's been dumb fouls. It's been frustration. Tonight, the bad calls came before the frustration. Insane whistle tonight for Jaren. Until, again, late, it looked like it evened out. The game was already out of hand by the time the whistle started to even out. Thanks a lot, John. And his brother's a referee. It runs in the family to be just jackasses, apparently. But terrible. Dang it. I let one loose at the end. Couldn't help myself.
Another super chat here. I'm going to let you kind of hit on this one, but God, what's the name? Menaze?
I think it's supposed to be Menace.
Ooh, yeah, there you go. Menace.
But not quite Menace.
It's Menaze Menace. Blow the team up, copy OKC rebuild. A lot of picks and the young players this group has. It's kind of run its course. They peaked in 2022. There's a lot to impact there. One, I appreciate that. Menace. We'll say Menace because that makes more sense than Menaze, even though you know where I'm going. My issue with that is how long does that take? Okay, on the rebuild part of it. Would you have to lose Ja if that was the case?
Dang, this guy must be a Dallas fan that actually liked the move earlier. No. You don't blow up a team with John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Desmond Bane on it. I mean, listen, I don't disagree. Like the roster hasn't gotten better since that run. Like there's no disagreement there, but the problem isn't the core, which when you're blowing something up, you're blowing up the core. The core is there. You just got to figure the heck out outside of them. Like John Collins should not be sitting in Utah after this summer. Colin Sexton shouldn't be sitting in Utah after this summer. There's other moves to be made out there. Like you got to go augment. So low key, this is just a Lakers fan trying to do some subterfuge, which is what Lakers fans do. They're like, hey, they should probably blow it up and send them all to LA. That's what they're probably going to.
Well, so the thing is, okay, so I'm going to back Menace here. Is he's not saying, or he or she is not saying, send them to somewhere in particular. This sounds like, hey, my opinion would be to blow it up, copy their rebuild, right? Like, because it was, SGA was there for 2 or so years when they were atrocious. And then they started getting some good draft picks, and then they would hit on one, hit on another guy, and then they started getting better. Last year they were good. They weren't as good. But what they did, the difference is they went out and got a guy and paid the money for Isaiah Hartenstein, right? And so these other guys that are coming up next to SGA, but also Hartenstein, you do have the potential of Chet, but also Jalen Williams is playing, crazy over what everybody expected him to do. And so I think that, yes, you could say that, you could do that. The problem is it's going to be hard to completely start back over because you're going to have to lose 2 of the 3 for sure of the core 3 if you were going to blow it up. I don't think you can do it at this point. I think you have to go all in. And at that point, if you run 2, maybe 3 years of going all in, then you can blow it up if it doesn't work. But I don't think you can blow it up right now.
No, you don't blow up a team that is built at its core to win. Truly, like in all seriousness, you just don't do it. Like, look at the teams that have like blown it up, like the Sixers in the process. They didn't get past an East Finals, right? They had the one East Finals against Toronto, lost it, and now look at them. It's miserable. And they spent years sucking on purpose to try and get there. One success case you could say is Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City, they blew it up, but they also brought in Chris Paul to kind of teach those young players, help them compete. Kind of blew it up for a couple of years, but they were also in mediocrity. Right. They didn't have something like SGA was good, but he wasn't great at that point. They had just gotten him from the Clippers. They weren't sure what they had in that. Maybe they were, but he clearly hadn't gotten to where he is yet. There's a lot more Charlottes, Washingtons, Utahs, New Orleans of the world than there are Oklahoma Cities. As in, there's one Oklahoma City. Right. Like, blowing it up can work. Clearly, it has for some of these teams. Like Cleveland was pretty bad for a while, but dude, it's miserable, and like you got to get some good stuff going. Like Cleveland got Donovan Mitchell, which no one would have seen coming and expected to happen, right? OKC has SGA, turning SGA. I mean, everything has hit to the 10 level. Jalen Williams has hit. A lot has hit well for them. So, in all seriousness, if we're going to make this a serious conversation, the blow it up pathway is just such a risky thing to do, and there's no reason to take the risk.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you take the risk just yet. All right, so we're gonna put a bow on
taking a risk, to be honest.
Yeah, not taking a risk is taking a risk, but we're gonna tie a bow on this game. The Grizzlies do lose 141 to 125 overall to the Minnesota Timberwolves. It was ugly. It was nasty. The third quarter just hit and it sucked, but the Grizzlies are going to be okay. Last thing I'm going to end on is our guy Wayno. One, we love Wayno. I always have a good time with him for sure. But I just want to say hey, but also he appreciates us. We appreciate you as well, Wayno. The positivity in the chat, I always say it's the best chat because everybody is fair. Everybody shares their opinions, whether right or wrong, or whether you don't agree or you do agree, whatever. But I think everybody keeps everybody at check. And so at that point, I do appreciate that. I wish it was more of a positive season so we could all kind of enjoy it more. But in the end of the day, we're talking through it and we're fans, just having a great time. And so, yes, I go in on Edie a lot. I think it's fun. And you're going to go in on Edie against me if for some reason he has a great game. I think that's fun too. So if everybody just understands that part of it, I think everybody has a lot more fun as we go. So that's going to be just a complete good time overall. If everybody just kind of understands we're going to kind of keep going for this and having some fun. Menace has sent another one in. We're going to get to it. Let me kind of hold off on that because I want to go ahead and get to the Grizz Trivia because we do have some people that probably want to hang out for it for a second and then probably get out of here. I saw Lauren made that comment. So Lauren, early Grizz Trivia. We're halfway through. We'll go ahead and get to it right now. But let's go ahead and get to Grizz Trivia so we can get some people, if they don't want to hang out for the entire show, and then we'll get to your super chat right after this. But let's go ahead and hit our trivia. All right, Nate. The question we have, what Memphis Grizzlies player leads the franchise in combined playoff points, rebounds, and assists? And these are totals. These aren't averages. These are totals.
Mike Conley. Moneymaker Mike.
Moneymaker Mike. Guys, what do we tell him?
Wrong. Mark Randolph. Ooh, which way am I gonna go? Gotta be quicker than that.
Mark
I'm
Randolph.
gonna say Zebo. No. I'm gonna say Zebo.
Zebo. Final answer.
Final answer.
Zach Randolph does lead,
Yeah.
but before I show you the stats, can you name the top 3 that lead the franchise in points, rebounds, and assists combined in the playoffs?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Mike is in the top 3 for sure.
Okay, who's the other man? Who's the third man?
I mean, seems too easy. Screw it. I'm saying it even though I think it's a trick. Mark.
It is Marc Gasol. Mark.
I was like, he's screwing with me.
Mark is only 13 points, rebounds, and assists behind. And so at that point, you're talking about Zach, who has 1756, Mark 1743, and then Mike Conley at 1507. And I made another little slide here to kind of show everybody a little bit more in-depth look at it. If you look at the points, Zach and Mark are very similar to everything just in general. But then the rebounds, they're very similar. But how Mark really closed that gap and made it so close is those assists. But I was shocked at the assist number for Conley because, yes, the points, he's not so far behind, but he's really far behind, and he did not just completely blow up that the assist gap. And so that's where he's kind of holding back on that.
Because he's throwing at the ghost of Chandler Parsons in the corner. So, but yeah, I really thought Conley's points would be higher. I thought that would get him there, but I always wanted to be Mike Conley too. He was my favorite core 4 player by a long shot. Can't wait for his jersey to go in the Raptors. I'll probably, no matter where I live, make that trip.
Really?
I love Mike Conley, man. That was always my favorite all-time player in the NBA.
Yeah.
Love Mike Conley.
Yeah, so I see John saying here that Zebo didn't even get assists like that, 100%. But he had 109. But the thing is like his points were the best and his rebounds were the best. And so I thought it was tricky, but also understandable that we have. And so if you look at our guys, so Zach plays 62 games, Mark 59, and Mike 56. So that's the other issue is your less games for some of those. In Memphis Grizzlies playoff history. I'm guessing those were injuries related because of Mark and Mike. But Ja has 19. How many points do you think he scored? 19 games. He does lead the franchise in average. If I had to.
Hold on. 550.
You're not far off. 518.
518. Yep. I mean, what's the average? I put it like average like 28 or 29.
I don't see it right here in front of me. Totals. Let me switch it real quick. Averages. John Morant averages 27.3 points per game. And I try to do it by averages, but the problem is he has 6.8 rebounds a game in the playoffs and 8.6 assists per game in the playoffs. Because I was going to look at averages, and he has, I was just like, all right, I can't do that because that would just, it's too easy. Because I would assume he has the best numbers out of everybody.
Yeah, it's freaky.
Do you have the new big 3 numbers? I do. I don't have the totals, but I do have the totals, but I could look at these real quick. So if you look at, so Ja, I said that he had the 518 points. Bane has 394 points. Jaren has 361. And those are all those are 23 games each for those guys, except for Ja. Ja has 19, and he's already, out playing them in that number. But rebounds, you have Ja with 130, Jaren with 156, and Bane with 98. Bane's assists are 55, Jaren's 25, and then Ja has 164. So he's already half of Mike Conley. He's going to blow Mike Conley's numbers out of the water. That's just understood. Yeah. And he's a better player. let's just be crystal clear on that.
Yeah.
John Morant is leaps and bounds the best player ever to play in a Memphis Grizzlies uniform. I know I love Zebo. I know you love Mike. I know other people love Mark and whoever and Tony. The problem is Ja is electric. He's the best. So that's why he'll always be the best player.
Mike's my favorite Grizz, clearly. there's clearly a head and shoulders best Grizz, which is why you don't blow up the team.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Full circle. All right, let's get to this last one before we do the look ahead. Menace has another, and I promise you, whatever you put up here, unless it's something rude, I'm not going to read it. But we do appreciate the super chats.
Mm-hmm.
Always prioritize them. And as you can see, there's more people in here. It's harder for me to be able to sift through while talking to see your comments. So I promise you, especially in the playoffs, it's going to be very, very hard. But he's going back to this. They traded all the 3 peak of Ja experience in Memphis. The alley-oop dunk in game 1 of the 22 series against Golden State. It's been all downhill since. I don't want to say I disagree. I don't think it's about the play. Ja gets suspended. Ja gets injured. This is first year. Coach gets fired. I think this is a complete switch moving forward. Next year, if everybody's healthy and does not play well, whoever they end up hiring as a coach, I think we can have a more conversation similar to this.
Yeah. It's hard to say like the peak of the Ja experience was that when there was no Ja experience for a year after that.
That's the problem.
Yeah. So and again, I don't think it's the peak of the Ja. I mean, we're seeing Ja Morant play the past 10 plus games about as well as any other 10-game stretch in his entire career.
Yeah.
I mean, like, looks amazing. He is drilling shots from deep. He's controlling the game. He looks like his old self. He's having fun. Like, that's the Ja Morant experience. We're getting it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the reason everyone feels that way is because of this. The problem is actually the opposite of this. Again, I don't think Zach Kleiman's an idiot. I think it's going to be the exact opposite. Like, he's much more likely to play it safe and just roll with what he's got than he is to make any big moves and take any big risks.
Yeah.
Like, the quote-unquote big risks have been swinging on draft picks and missing.
Yeah.
If you look at all the other moves he's done, like the Justice Winslow thing, everyone's like, oh, that was a huge swing and a miss, except for you gave up a bag of balls for it pretty much.
That's the thing. They didn't give up much.
Yeah, there's no risk to any other moves they've made other than these big swings they've made in the draft, which have been, for the vast majority of it, misses. Other than the late round picks, obviously, those aren't really big swings. You just nailed your late picks. So I think that's the problem. You got to go and actually go try and win, which it's not that I don't believe in these guys. It's just they're too young. They're too young. You can't rely on all these dudes.
No doubt. One guy I want to bring up before we get to the look ahead, Black and DJ, man, doing big things on his end, but been a member here now for 2 months and kind of want to just share his appreciation and the fun that we're having in the community, how well and good it really is. And so I couldn't say it any better. So I appreciate you, Black and DJ. All right. Enough of that. Enough of the love. No more of that. All right, let's get to the Denver game because it's going to be crazy. They literally play in less than 24 hours. It's nuts. Let's look ahead with the help of our boy Ryan helping us out. No, it's not a blowout, Meeks.
Let's look ahead to Friday night's away back-to-back matchup for Memphis Grizzlies against the Denver Nuggets. Look, the Denver Nuggets, it looks like they have a good record and 4th in the West, but the truth is this has been a below 500 team for the past month and a half. So everybody was surprised by the firing of Mike Malone, but with the trajectory this team must go on the past month and a half with championship expectations with Nikola Jokic, it made sense for this firing. This is a really fun matchup between the Nuggets and the Grizzlies because these are 2 elite teams at scoring at the rim and in the paint. So the Nuggets are actually dead last in the NBA in 3-point attempts. Let's see if the size of the Grizzlies with Jaren Jackson Jr. and Zach Edey turn the Denver Nuggets into more of a 3-point shooting team, which could mean more Jokic assists in this game. So hopefully the Grizzlies are a benefactor of a little bit of variance where the Nuggets are missing threes and the Grizzlies are capitalizing and transitioning in the paint. And if so, can solidify a spot in the playoff seeding and avoiding the dreaded play-in.
Yeah, buddy, we're going for that play-in, no doubt. No doubt.
Listen, man, weirder things have happened. This is one of those spots where the team could just rally. Now, given the circumstances, it's a very scary situation.
Bro,
At the same time, dude,
impossible.
it could be one of those crazy things where the young legs turn into young legs and they just go off. And again, we're grasping. We're reaching. We're holding on to anything we possibly could, but there's 2 games left in the season. So I'm going to sit here and say, listen, these boys can rally. I believe in these Memphis Grizzlies with their fearless leader, Ja Morant. Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to have a bounce-back game. Desmond Bane, that ball is going to be so light. He's going to be shooting it from the logo at altitude. Can't defend them.
Well, let me show you what I went through today. Okay. These are all the playoff scenarios. Okay. So let me give the ones where the Grizzlies lose real quick. So there was ones where they win tonight, lose tonight, and then from there trying to work through it. So the Grizzlies lose. Okay. So now everybody is tied. Okay. The difference is if you look at these standings, the Grizzlies are 7th, still over Minnesota. I don't know how, unless I don't know what the standings are, because what happens is when you come down to 3 teams that are tied for the same record, you take the only thing that switches, like the tiebreaker, changes. It's not head to head anymore. It's the best record out of those 3. And so my only understanding is Minnesota has a terrible record against Golden State. That's the only way that we can still be above Minnesota.
Yep.
Because it's not head to head anymore. So at this point, the Grizzlies need to win out, and they have to somehow have Golden State lose to the Clippers. That's the easiest way, because Minnesota, they have Brooklyn and Utah. Nah, I don't think they're losing any of those 2.
You never know.
They're not losing either one of those 2.
Just saying there's a chance.
The Clippers have Sacramento and Golden State, which are two good games, but that's just going to split the difference there. Golden State has Portland, going to be a win, and then they have the Clippers, which is that Clippers game. Either way, it doesn't matter. At this point, the Lakers are pretty much locked into their spot. They're going because they should win the division, and if they win the division, they outrank everybody. So at that point, they'll be the 3 seed. Denver, if they can win tomorrow against Memphis, they can easily do it. Minnesota could jump. Minnesota has one of the better records in the conference, and so if you look at enough teams get tied, they have a good chance to jump a lot of teams. So as Art's asking, many might go to 6, 100%, because if for some reason the Grizzlies lose, it's one of these over here. I'm looking through it. So if they lose, they're 47 and 34, and at that point, it doesn't matter about Sunday. They're going to be 8. There's no way they can jump.
Yep.
So you lose tomorrow against Denver, they are the 8 seed.
Pretty much.
So there's a lot that could happen to get them in the 7th, but a lot of these teams who are tanking would have to win, and I don't see that happening with 2 games left in the season. So at that point, I think the Grizzlies are going to be Tuesday night. They're going to travel to wherever, and we'll have the play-in game. And if they win that, then they'll go and face Houston. And if they lose that, they'll have to take on either Sacramento or Dallas. And at that point, it is what it is. You win, you go to OKC. You lose, you get your pick back, number 14. Simple as that. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's the truth.
Or
that's it.
Or
that's it.
You win your first playing game.
Oh, okay. Go to play Houston.
You're going to play against Houston, which is the 4-5 matchup we were kind of looking for about a month ago. So there you go.
Bro.
It's just hilarious. It's like after all that, all this sweating, everything that could, like, you're sitting there just throwing fits about the whole time since like a month and a half ago, where you're like, honestly, if they could just find a way to match up against Houston, that's probably your best way to go. Chess, not checkers, baby.
Yeah.
Chess, not checkers. Oh, yeah, it's tough shakes, man. It's depressing. I've Personally, I blame Taylor Jenkins for having a Vince double Jalen Brunson and leaving OG Anunoby open. Personally, I blame Taylor Jenkins still. Avery decided Desmond Bain should go try and dribble against Dyson Daniels 2 years later.
Chuck. I love Chuck. He's like, let's just throw in the white towel and hire that lady that stacks the bowls and unicycle and just halftime show and have fun the last few games.
Oh man,
is that Red Panda? Is that right?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I thought that's what her name was.
I have no idea. I know exactly who she is, and she is electric, but I have no idea what her name is.
I thought that might have been her name. I don't remember. But anyway, yeah. So B Carr is asking a question. I have no clue. All right, here it is. Team loses out and loses the play, and do you think they will reconsider the coach?
I think they reconsider the coach no matter what.
Man, that's tough.
Well, how do you not when Mike Malone is going to be out there?
Dude, supposedly Denver hated, like the fans thought very much similar to what Taylor Jenkins, which as we can see now, I know Taylor Jenkins has issues, but his legs also got taken out from him as his assistants, stuff like that. So at that point, it was more political this last year.
Yeah, Mike Malone won a championship 2 years ago. The only reason that
I agree.
It's because he couldn't quit fighting with the GM, who, by the way, completely effed the team into oblivion. I'd be fighting with the GM too.
Yeah.
It's hilarious when these guys turn like, listen, I thought I did the job to my best ability. I wouldn't change a thing. I'm like, well, you probably should because you just got fired. I'd probably go back and change something. But dude, it wasn't like Mike Malone was some kind of awful coach.
No.
Fighting with the GM, who, by the way, didn't do a very good job after that championship. Yeah. So listen, he may not be the answer. I'm not saying he necessarily is, but it's a coach who's won an NBA championship. It's the kind of experience you need for this team, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Well, so there's something going on at Denver real quick, and Art's got a question, Nate. Do you have an answer for him?
No, personally, I was hoping this would be the last one we ever did. Yeah, we'll be back.
Yeah, we'll be here tomorrow night. Another double dip. I got another show in the morning. It's just now hit midnight. I have a show in 9 hours. I gotta be ready for the pre-show meeting in 8 hours and 45 minutes. So we're gonna get out of here in a few seconds. But looking at this, Jalen Pickett is the biggest difference on this team. So the issues that Denver was fighting about was playing too much Russell Westbrook. And so what this new coach is going to do is he's going to play Jalen Pickett, who is, I'm not saying he's that great. Number 24, he's a guard out of Siena. I didn't know that. But he's starting now alongside them. So there should not be a Jamal Murray, but Gordon Porter Jr. and Jokic is going to be there. Christian Brown, which is also a really good player. He played really good last game. It's going to be a tough matchup. Just playing, in altitude. They're getting in roughly at 4 a.m. Mountain time, which is an issue, your time. And so at that point, it's going to be a quick turnaround, and they're going to have to figure it out. And there's games like these you can actually play really well because you're just going off adrenaline. Because if you win, you really do have a chance to get back into the 6th seed and not have to do another game on Tuesday. So either way, I think this game's going to be tough. No way around it. I think it's going to be tough. I don't expect them to win. I haven't looked at the line. Have you seen a line at all on this game? No. I'm curious what Vegas thinks.
No, I saw something else. I'm sorry.
Denver 6.5.
I just saw a tweet. I know someone that would have played defense tonight. It was the 2 pictures of Taylor Jenkins out there guarding Torian Prince on accident.
Wow.
That's hilarious. Oh, shout out to Ryan G. That tweet's hilarious. That was amazing. Sorry. I don't even know what you're talking about. That was just hilarious.
Appreciate that. Appreciate it. All right. So anything else that you have that you want to hit on before we get out of here? Because at this point, I think we've kind of beaten a dead horse.
Yeah.
I'm glad everybody showed up for their Edie hate. I had to wear it. We'll probably have to wear it again tomorrow night for sure.
Yeah. Maybe not. Freaking hater. Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll see. Just tune in tomorrow. For everybody, my only advice is tune in. Assume like the Grizzlies are going to get out there and compete, go win a basketball game, because you've only got 2 other games of potential heartbreak before the play-in, if that's the case. So, if it's not the case, I'm sorry. So, yeah, man, I'm with Ja Morant. You need to play some defense. Go
Definitely
get a
play
win.
defense.
By the way, I see a lot of people want to trade someone who everybody knows is bad on defense. I saw the comments tonight. I'm saving it for probably the last game of the season comments. I'm sure we'll talk about that last game of the season. So, yeah, there needs to moves need to be made for some climbing.
Yeah,
class favorites.
We'll see. Denver had been playing well. They won a game last game against Sacramento. Crazier things have been done. Ja Morant should play well as long as he's got his legs under him. I think he'll be okay. It's all about the other guys. Can somebody else stand up? Can they get going early in the first, catch some momentum, or does Denver just kind of shut them down early? And at that point, you're fighting an uphill battle. And when do you shut it down? So we'll see. I expect him to come out looking good in the first. It's can they continue to keep it going in the second to get them to halftime with a lead, make some adjustments, and then come out in third. So we'll see. Overall, I think it will be a fun game. We'll definitely have a show tomorrow night, no doubt. But that's all we got. It's been a fun night as always,
except for the game.
Yeah, except for the game.
Sorry,
but we will be back tomorrow night. Make sure everybody tune in, tell a friend, help us out. These are our last few. And guess what? I got a little teaser for you guys for hanging out this long. This is the thumbnail for tomorrow.
Oh man, I'm here for it. I love it.
All right, so that's the thumbnail. So everybody, make sure you hang out and come hang out with us tomorrow night. We'll be here. All right, that's it. We'll see you then. Be nice. Tell your friends.